Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here bright and early on a Saturday morning as we are going to continue the Dolmenwood campaign that we started using the old school Essentials rulebook. This is officially session two, although I don't know. It's kind of like 2.5 because our session zero did include a bit of gameplay. So we've got a couple of sessions under our belt, and we've got a story that we are weaving through here. So I am joined here by Winston, Isaac, Moreen, Ryan, and Chris. We've got the full crew here, and basically where we were picking up is we're continuing the thread of trying to find the thief that stole their money just as they were arriving into the Dolmenwood. Um, but before we begin, just a few acknowledgments at the top here. We are 20 Sides to Every Story. We're a gaming group that we play a lot of our games online together, stream them on Twitch, upload them later to our YouTube channel. And in the case of this Dolmenwood, we're kind of playing around, or I'm just having some fun editing the audio of our games and turning it into a podcast format. So, a couple of different ways you can engage with us. But the number one thing we always like to introduce everyone to is that we have a Discord server, and we encourage you to join that. I'll post the link to the invite here in our Twitch chat, so you can join us there. If you're watching this after the fact, you can find it in the description of the video. But we'd encourage you to join that so that you can come and hang out with us in between our games or our streams, get to know us, and potentially even play in a game with us. We do run a community campaign where we invite people that enjoy our content to come have a game with us. So check that out, join, and right in the lobby of our Discord server, just let us know how you found us, and if you're looking for a game, we'll help you to onboard you to create a character and get signed up. Um, I think that's just about everything I have. We do also have a Patreon that supports the community campaign and the DMs that are creating content for that, so you can check that out as well. All right, so where we are beginning here today, this is really the second day of our adventuring. So it is the 24th of Igwild, late spring, and I believe we ended the session around maybe that like 5 p.m., maybe 5:30 p.m. mark. You had had a long journey to arrive at the marble, this white stone tower that you believe maybe is the lair of some kind of wizard, or at least a relic of one in the past. And this is where you had traced Jaspy Poppletail, the Grimalkin that stole your money, to this place. You found some evidence of them along the way and have climbed its staircase to arrive at the second floor of the tower, where you are in very comfortable amenities, very plush furniture, roaring fireplace that is active in a hearth, and plenty of wine, and a little table that has a more than an individual's worth of tobacco and pipes to go along with that. It feels right at home. You'd even thought about maybe taking a rest or a sleep here, but have decided against it because you're going to try to keep your eye on the prize and see if you might still be able to find Jaspy Poppletail. I believe Thomas had kind of looked about the room looking for some evidence of this cat-like creature and did find traces of some fur or hair that was lingering on some of the couches, and very very well could be that belonging to that orange tabby fur of Jaspy. So I think maybe we will get started here with just some character introductions and maybe ask the players that we have here introduce who they're bringing to the table. So we'll just go around the horn here real quick. Just don't have to go too far into backstory, but just whatever you think is important for the audience to know about your characters as we get started. So let's kick things off there with you, Winston.
Yeah, so I am playing Weymund Green. He is an illusionist, so human, although we all are human. And his, I guess, you know, the thing to understand for him is that he's very interested in learning about magic. He doesn't believe in the authority of the church, a little bit skeptical that he thinks religion is maybe used as a tool to oppress people and kind of like manage political power. Not like necessarily a very political guy, just sort of intrinsically skeptical of all things. But at the same time, he is very interested in mastering uh, a specific spell, Chromatic Orb. And so for him, Chromatic Orb, it's a spell. He has a gem, has a quartz that he kind of plays with. He's trying to like improve the potency of the spell. Right now, he doesn't feel like it's strong enough to make a big difference, and he even has a little trouble kind of getting it out and like making it function. But that's his main motivation. He's very interested in, first of all, not being in jail anymore, but also the fact that part of getting out of jail involves tracking down a prisonist, which is obviously somewhat tangentially connected to some of the things he's interested in. And so he's hoping he'll get a peek at her spell book, maybe even see if she has some powerful gems that he might be able to snatch.
Awesome. Let's go over next to Isaac.
Hello, good morning. I am playing Friar Stephen Fitzpatrick. He is one half of the brother duo, the Fitzpatricks that we have in the party. He's a bit eccentric, as he is he likes to look for different types of herbs and mushrooms and such while they travel. He too has a bit of problem with the idea of how religion is put into place, and kind of he'd like to think that he sees through the facade of uh, the system, and he sees that it's really just there to oppress like people. And so he's kind of anti-establishment rebel friar. And yeah, older brother, and ran away. He was once a noble, but left that life, pursue a more simple life of traveling the countryside and getting the message of the true God out to those that wish to hear it.
Awesome. And I think maybe I'll just jump right over to Ryan so we can establish this brother connection a bit. Ryan, who are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, my name is Ryan Garthok, and I'm playing Sir Geoffrey Fitzpatrick, the younger brother to the good Friar. Uh, the good Friar, being the older brother, was sort of the one who was going to take over as the head of the family. And when he left to pursue the countryside after his strange exploits of mushrooming and herbing, um, he sort of left me holding the bag, and so there was a lot of resentment there for a long time. But I sort of rose to the occasion and learned to kind of be the opposite of my brother in a lot of ways, and maybe the opposite of Weymund, in that I appreciate the system and the laws, and I represent them. I'm totally about that. And even though it was perceived that I broke some laws, I'm all about the chivalric code and the codes of honor. And I kind of see this mission that we're on with Sir Silas as being a way of kind of regaining that honor. And so I'm taking this very seriously, even though my hand is maybe rubbing the wine coffer a little bit, like really, I was nobility. I had the touch of the finer things in life, and this little room we're in is very fine, and it's very tempting. But I've got my eye on the prize, and I will not succumb to any sort of, yeah,
It's funny, the two
no
knights
temptation.
are the two that are like lusting after these like these 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 comforts so much. Um Geoffrey with the wine and Silas with the tobacco. But let's get introduced to Thomas. So Chris, tell us a little bit about Thomas.
My name's Chris. I am playing Thomas Mournspire. He's a minstrel. Had spent about 6 months running from the law until he turned himself in, being tired of being on the lam. Unfortunately, it turned out that he was not really, I guess, being looked for because the picture that they had was a horrible likeness of him. So, but he met Sir Silas in prison and was able to make the solemn time a little, I guess, less solemn, bring him a little bit of solace with stories and song, which is why Sir Silas brought him along. And also in conversations, he would have known that I was interested in the Dolmen Stone, which he allowed me to basically come with him and take a chance at this. He is a rather large fellow uh, and has a cloak that has a couple of colorful patches on it, I guess would be what things of note about him.
Awesome. And then let's get reintroduced here to Lillibeth, and we'll go over to Moreen.
Hi. So I'm Maureen, and I am being Lillibeth Harper. Lillibeth is a hunter. She ended up in prison and met Sir Silas because she was um, framed essentially for tax evasion, which is probably the worst possible crime in a kingdom such as this, and was immediately drawn to Sir Silas's story, which mirrored my own in that he essentially was doing what he was supposed to do and acting out of the best of motives, and he ultimately um, was thrown into prison for his pains. So, in addition to being a scribe, I had, of course, fled the scene of this framing earlier, not wanting to be involved with these notorious people that I had been engaged with in the production of a really great beverage. But I decided that if I really couldn't trust people, I wouldn't trust people, and I would focus my efforts on living life within the forest, hunting to supply my needs and the needs of others around me, and hopefully one day being able to form part of a larger hunting party. So my role with this group is I'm essentially trustful of Sir Silas and not very many other people. And so far, they've not given me great cause to trust them in several instances, including in the way that they react to surprises in the middle of the night. So I'm reserving judgment right now.
Awesome. So those are the player characters for our game here. As mentioned, they also are accompanied by Sir Silas de Santos, who was also imprisoned with all of them. They are out here in the Dolmenwood doing a mission to potentially grant them amnesty in the eyes of the Lumoran Empire. Uh, I don't know that Sir Silas has ever told you explicitly what his story is, but he has alluded to it. And just as you have all kind of mentioned, it would seem that he is taking the fall for something that he didn't do, but it seems to be something that he's at peace with. And so, but has been, because of his title and position, maybe was given this task to find a rogue prismist that, in the eyes of the Empire, that has apparently absconded to the Dolmenwood with some piece of um, arcane power that the Empire does not want. in the hands of this person. This person's name is Marjorie Griver, and that was sort of the driving force that brought us to the Dolmenwood. But what we are dealing with right now is a hiccup in the plan, as the party had been encamped just outside the Dolmenwood, preparing to trek further up the River Hameth in their 3 canoes, and a cat-like creature named Jaspy Poppletail, who they'd interacted with just momentarily, seems that its engagement with the party was a mere distraction for a partner, perhaps. That is, I think, the running theory right now, is there was a second creature that managed to make off with the party's money. And so you have now tracked this creature down to this tower where you are currently located on the 2nd floor. Sir Silas is a man who's in he's in the second half of his life for sure, probably in his 60s. He is a rather he's a thinning man with white hair that is starting to recede. He's wearing chainmail, and he is your benefactor here. He is currently looking at this tobacco, and it's putting it back in its rightful place in this little end table between these 2 overstuffed chairs, resigned to the fact that, yes, we must press on. And so he looks to you all, looks up at the doorway that is at the top of the winding staircase that leads up, and he says, well, if we aren't to linger here, I suppose up is the only direction to go. Anything we need to discuss before we proceed?
I don't think so. I think we've got to find who owns this tower, and hopefully we can find those little cat people. So, onward and upward.
And just to review, we did have sort of a marching order in place previously, with Geoffrey at the front and Weymund behind, Friar and Thomas somewhere in the middle, Lillibeth in the back, and then Silas kind of being the rear guard, as you were, at least as far as going up. You kind of have to go single file up these stairs, and so Geoffrey, would you like to lead the way and head up to that doorway and give it?
Yeah, I'll probably knock first on the door. I think we did that on the way in as well. Just kind of, hey, anybody home? Coming in. And yeah, I think I will open the door.
Okay, so you knock upon the door, and you can hear movement from behind the door, and you can hear that something is approaching.
Okay, I hear that it's approaching the door.
Yes.
I probably won't just barge in then. I'll probably just be like, Avon calling, or something like that.
The door opens, and on the other side is a upright skeleton dressed in I guess the fineries of what maybe like a butler. It's kind of a black suit, buttoned up, but it's just kind of hanging off the frame of this skeletal figure, and so it's fairly ill-fitting. But it opens up the door and sort of gestures silently to the room. Behind this undead creature, you can see there is a long table that is laid out, almost like banquet style, and thank you. All sorts of delicacies, desserts, honeyed meats, and you could see steam rising off of some of these delicacies, like it had just been freshly prepared, almost in anticipation of your arrival. And there are other there are other skeletal servants about the room, many of which are setting plates and silverware out in front of these high-backed chairs. A number of them are moving the chairs out and gesturing for you to sit and gather. Um, amidst all this, you can see that on the opposite end of the room, following the contour of the tower, is another marble staircase that leads up further. Another doorway, just like the previous ones that you've encountered.
Hmm.
This is unsettling, but this smells wonderful.
Brother, do you still have some of the powder that came from the puff that was collected? Maybe we could test to see if some of this food is poisonous or.
Oh, you were thinking of eating it?
It's tempting a little bit.
That's what you're thinking about right now?
Smells good. And that wine was good, smelled good. The tobacco, the food, and these fine skeletal men are inviting us to this fine meal. It's tempting.
Yeah, the operative word is skeletal.
I mean, it is a wizard's tower.
Now we know it's a necromancer
Ooh, I guess
or an illusionist.
that is more ominous.
How
Maybe we
about
should
if
just
we
hightail it to the stairs on the other side of the room then.
Either way, I'd say maybe we hold off on testing any food right now, because there are more pressing matters to deal with. As he's like staring, he's kind of like, you could see him clutching like at his chest, and you would see maybe like an amulet like kind of underneath, kind of just holding it a bit as he's kind of staring at these kind of skeletal creatures walking around.
Is
Well,
there still one holding the door?
Yeah, it's still there. If you're in conversation outside the room, he's kind of gesturing, almost like maybe getting more like insistent a bit. It maybe even kind of moves forward and grabs at your hand, Sir Geoffrey, not in a like menacing way. I mean, other than it's a skeleton, but it's not like being aggressive. I guess grabs your hand and is kind of like offering to maybe like guide you to the table.
So he touches him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't feel anything bad happen or.
No, sharp, pointy bits, kind of digging into your skin, but he's not like pressing with any force. It's a very kind of gentle embrace of your hand.
I mean,
I've been
we want to
called
go
many
in.
things. I've been called many things, but rude is not one of them. And I go ahead and I move forward in between everybody and go to the table
Yeah.
and grab something and look at everybody and eat it.
And tell me, like, what kind of a food item are you looking for? Are you looking for more of like a dessert or a?
To be totally honest, probably something not messy, maybe like a roll or
Okay.
something bread, whether it's a sweet or a roll or whatever.
Yeah, there's like sort of like a number of like kind of cinnamon bun looking things on a plate, and you go to reach out and rip one off, and it doesn't appear to be an illusion. You can feel it. You can even kind of smell the notes of the cinnamon. The frosting looks delicious. You take a bite of it. Very sweet. Bit of comfort after you've been just eating rations and whatnot on the road, and so this is like heaven to taste this.
Seems this is okay.
Well, brother, seems like somebody test for poison anyway.
I see that.
That just was a suggestion, and I'll go sit down and I'm gonna grab. Is there like something savory, like a turkey leg or something?
Yes. There's a roasted turkey that's laid out.
Oh yeah.
And so
I'm just going right for the turkey leg.
rip that off and bite into it. It is oh man, it is juicy. It is very high quality. There's some kind of a glaze on it that has a bit of a sweetness this juices mixing about in your, it's just this it's delectable.
Oh my God, Silas, you've got to try this. This is amazing.
Way
And
better than prison food.
he sort of like raises an eyebrow and he says, "So the tobacco was off limits, but this banquet of the undead is okay."
We've been invited.
Well, and he's just kind of looking at both you and Thomas, and he says, "Unless it's a very slow acting type of thing, I don't know if I'm a strong enough man to say no." And he moves over fairly cautiously, but he also grabs at a bit of the turkey meat. There's like some serving utensils and stuff, and he just kind of goes for some of the white meat and cuts off a piece and grabs a little something. The skeletons are moving about, like filling goblets with pitchers of wine. That they're filling like different goblets for you all.
I'm gonna snatch a roll and pocket it.
Certainly feels less like stealing than since we're being served and whatnot. I would expect that maybe someone. None of the skeletons speak, or if we try to speak to them, they don't speak back.
Well, I haven't had a chance yet.
Go for it, Lillibeth.
You
Yeah,
give
go
like
for
a hello or something, and it doesn't like they kind of communicate with you non-verbally, but you're not getting the sense that if they have any kind of intelligence, it would be very limited. Basically, at this point, it sort of seems they're more mechanical, like they're kind of following procedures.
Well, and I want to test that. I'm not sure how safe it is to eat this, and I don't feel very comfortable around all this uncanniness. So I am going to literally bounce on the balls of my feet over and say and drop something between a bow and a curtsy because I'm not exactly sure what to do in the circumstance, and say, this all looks very lovely, but we're really quite anxious to meet the master of this tower. Is there any way that we could thank him before we start in on the meal, or her, or them?
Maybe like the original skeleton that opened the door is looking at you, and it's just staring back, and then just again gestures to the table.
So I decide to test another thought, and I start walking over towards the door to the entryway that has the marble steps that I can see. So I'm just walking over there. I'm not climbing up yet.
Okay, you walk around the table, get to the opposite end of the room, and you're standing at the base of those stairs. The skeletons still are kind of just doing the same thing that they've been doing before. They don't. If you're looking for like a severe reaction from them, they don't really give you that. Just sort of again gentle kind of like invitation waves over to the table, but none of them like pursue you over there or anything like that.
Well, with that, then I'm looking back at all of my companions. The only one left standing is the Friar at this point, I think. And I'm going to just give him a meaningful look and sit down, but I'm not going to eat or drink anything.
You would see the friar still standing in the door, kind of shocked. He's looking at these skeletal figures walking around, serving everyone. Everyone remember. Oh, it does smell lovely. Why we are here? We don't know what type of fiendish food this is. Please, maybe we. Is he being like Jester to come into, or because he really hasn't really stepped in the door? He's like kind of not.
I think so. There's 6 skeletons in total, and so now that there's a few of the characters are indulging. There's probably like one of the butlers is kind of gesturing for you, like looking directly at you, gesturing for you to come in.
Okay.
Oh, Friar, I know that this all looks quite suspicious to you as a man of the church. Necromancy is outlawed as one of the unallowed schools of magic, but I can tell you as an arcanist myself, all magic is magic. It's just different schools, whether you're conjuring an illusion or conjuring a lovely skeleton to be your butler.
Okay. Well, it is a bit odd. Look, watch. I close my eyes. I open them. There is a feast here in a wizard's tower, as 6 skeletal figures are beckoning us to eat it. This is the same wizard tower where we believe that our little kitty men running around with our gold coin.
Well, we don't have to eat. I'm just wanting to examine myself. But we can at least be polite.
At this point, this meal has cost us 200 gold pieces. So think about that.
Yes, and brother, if the wizard or somebody is in charge of these skeletons, as I imagine they are inviting us into this meal, and maybe once we all sit down, they may join us, or maybe we'll find out what's going on, be able to find the master. But we certainly won't find the master if you don't step in the doorway, my older brother. Please, just come in.
The door is going to go slam shut.
Roll initiative.
The friar would hesitantly, still kind of clutching his amulet underneath his robe, kind of step forward a bit, but not really look to sit down. In fact, he might look forward. You said that there was another door on the opposite side. Is that what I heard?
So there's a big banquet table in the middle of the room. On the opposite side is just sort of another stone marble staircase that leads up with no railing, that just winds around the perimeter of the room up to a landing where there's another wooden door.
Okay. Can I make my way to maybe that stairwell? Not necessarily like going up.
Yeah.
But...
So you walk over there, and you're over by where Lilith is kind of testing that as well.
All right. I would definitely call out up forward and say, hello, I assume we are your guests. We're here now. Would love to talk to you down here. If you're up there, please come on down.
You hear the door kind of slowly creak open. And then from the opposite side, you see a green-skinned face with pointy ears kind of poke out and like look at you for like a split second, and then like close the door rather swiftly. And you can hear kind of like some muffled conversation happening up there behind that door.
Geoffrey.
Yes.
Please put that down and come over here, please.
Yeah, I will put the. I'm not gonna put the leg down. Actually, I'm gonna keep it in my hand as I walk over. and see, and yeah, what's going on, brother? What have you found?
I think he would. No. I think he would. As soon as you bring over that drumstick, he'd say, "No, you're holding it all wrong," and he'd kind of try to take it from your hand and kind of hold it more like a weapon of sorts. Like, no, this is how you do it. You use it this way, just in case one of these creatures they turn on you. You understand? You want to hold it like this with the bone out. And it says that there was a face up there, a little a green pointy eared face. Not sure, but they're up there now. I think maybe we might move forward, right?
What? Where did?
Just right up the stairwell, the next door, where more trinkets and treasures await us all. Where I don't know, where we will see when fish people will come out and we'll swim underwater in the next chamber. I don't know, but that's what. There's something up there.
Yes, and he took a look at us, or it took a look at us, or whatever. And so, but they didn't come down, and they didn't really invite us up.
I think I'm gonna start up the stairs, waving the turkey leg around, being like, "Thank you, thank you." Hello, hello. This is delicious. Would you join us, or my friends say you have a face?
It's like it gets real quiet. Like you could hear like there's like chattering, like half a dozen voices, like all kind of talking on top of each other, and then you call out, and it just gets silent, like stops, and there's like a pause, and then you just hear, do you have any money?
Tons of it. Plethora of money.
Do I recognize that voice?
Maybe not that voice. No.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna see if I can open the door.
It is locked. How much money?
How much money did they take from us?
All of it.
200, I think.
Yeah, it was roughly something like that. Yeah, I'd have to do an accounting of it, but something like that.
I think maybe I'll say something like, I don't know. You'll have to help us count it.
Oh, that much, huh?
Come on out, and we can count it together.
So the door unlocks, and you see again, like the door opens, kind of just like the person or the figure opening it, like doesn't want to give you too much birth here, but it's a creature that stands maybe about 3.5 feet tall, green skinned, like these pointy ears with maybe just a couple of like golden earrings kind of piercing it. And he's dressed in pretty shabby clothing, just sort of like an overcoat that looks pretty dingy, and it's looking up at you. And but from behind this figure, you can see there's a circular table in the room, the number of chairs, and in the middle of the table is a bunch of coin. There are cards laid out. There's some dice cups, and you can see there are 5 goblins seated there, and 2 Grimalkin, these little cat creatures there, and they're currently like shaking dice cups and rolling dice, and money is being exchanged, and there's a lot of smoke in the air. Like a number of them are smoking rolled tobacco and cigars, and the figure that just opened the door for you says, "If you got money, like we can deal you in."
I believe we've already bought in the game with around 200 gold pieces. Poppletail was the man who bought us in.
You can see there's one tabby-furred Grimalkin that kind of pops its head up and says, "Oh, hey, how are you doing?"
Hey.
We're doing well.
You bought us into the game, right?
No. I'm doing pretty. I'm on a hot streak right now, though.
Oh, so that means then you, if you didn't buy us into the game with our 200 gold pieces, then it seems you must owe it to us then, correct?
No, not correct.
Yes, you have to
Didn't we
pay the
feed
fee.
you? Wait. Didn't we feed you?
That's right.
It was a gift.
Yes. A
Didn't
gift
say
and a hospitality.
thank you.
Yes, well, don't you have, well, I don't know. I've never met one of your people before. I just assumed that we were giving you guest right.
Like I
No, for
said,
my
thank you.
Hmm. So I guess guest right here doesn't mean that you don't steal from your host
I didn't steal from you.
or allow your friends to steal from your host.
It looks at the other Grimalkin. He's not my friend.
Ah, okay. So you guys are independent.
Grimalkin are very independent.
I see. Well, um, in that case, if you don't have guest right and we're not your hosts and we were never your hosts, then you've stolen our money. Yes?
The other Grimalkin it has sort of a grayish fur, and is wearing a floppy beret on his head, and he just looks up at you and he says, "Oh, doesn't matter how I came to have this coin. It's mine now."
So could we win it back from you?
What do you got to wager?
Well, what do we have to wager? Hang on just a second. Let me find out. What do we have to wager?
I don't think we have anything. I think we could like threaten his life, maybe. or
Couple of
something.
couple of the goblins stand up and they're pointing at Sir Silas's sword, and they're like, "That's a pretty cool sword. Tell him to wager that."
Yeah. Let me see what I've got.
I'll fish it in my pocket and I'll pull out my quartz and I'll kind of give everyone like a little bit of a sly look and say, "Well, you like to gamble. This right here is a shiny jewel. We all can agree it's quite pretty, and I kind of catch some light with it. I'll tell you what. We'll play a game. My quartz. We win. We get our money back. No problems. We leave the tower. No need for any further consternation. We lose. You get the quartz.
Is this a second quartz?
No,
Didn't you give the other one to the troll?
I give my silver
silver
dagger.
Oh, you gave the dagger. Gotcha.
Giving all my stuff away.
He's giving all the stuff away.
We better not
Yeah.
lose. Let's put it that way.
So you bring that out. They'll all kind of like look at each other and confer. You know, they're gambling with coin, and so they have sort of a brief conversation about whether what you've provided or are offering is like worth a deal or a buy into the game. And then after doing so, they look to you and they all kind of in unison nod, and one of them kind of kicks the chair out, the one chair that the goblin that's sitting by the door had previously occupied. They kind of kick that forward and invite you to come and sit with them. And they gesture for you to put your quartz in the center of the table.
Okay. Are we all invited?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it one chair?
There's only enough room at the table for 8. And so this is like the one chair that is open currently.
Can the rest come in the room with us though?
Yeah,
Is there room for everybody?
they don't seem like they have an issue with that.
Question for the DM. Does it seem like we've reached the top of the tower, or does it seem
No.
like they're...
Again, there's another staircase that leads up.
Okay. All right.
So
The friar would go and say, Weymund, please, come here a moment. Let me see your hand.
Okay. My hands are gloved. Do you need me to take glove
No,
off?
it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. There you go.
Please. Please, please, please. Saint Thom, Faithsmith, please guide this man's hands as he gambles, as he will bring us our gold and wealth back. please, please, for we are here to do right, to right the wrongs and help the people and, that stuff. Either way, please, 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 please. Thank you through the name of our true God, Slayman, or whatever they say.
That's his name.
The nameless god.
The nameless god.
Please.
Well, thank you very much for that inspirational begging.
Oh, you're welcome. That's kind of what praying's all about.
Inspirational begging. But I'll make good use of it. And if I don't, I'm just going to give him a wink.
All right. So Weymund, you take your seat at the table.
Yeah. How many of these little things are there again?
There are 8 in total. There's 2 Grimalkin and 6 goblins, but the one goblin, it seems, is sitting out of the game to make room for you to play a hand.
Got it. Okay.
So your competition is 7 others. So they're going to explain to you this dice game that they play. And basically, so you've wagered in, and so you've got a cut of whatever the takings are should you be able to stay in. And the way it works is that you roll 2d6, and if you roll a 7 or a 12, you remain and get a cut of the pot.
Okay. 7 or 12?
Yep.
Okay.
This is
sense.
part of all of the rolling I did previously this morning, because I was like to roll this many people. I've got mine all done. So you go ahead and roll 2d6 and let us know what you got.
All right. How many rolls do we get? Just one?
It's an elimination kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Oh gosh. Oh, I wish I had taken an illusion spell. This would have been perfect timing. Okay. So I actually don't have my dice handy. I'm gonna grab them real quick and be right back.
Sure.
And I have moved into the room and I have something from the table, some sort of chalice platter thing or something. And
Sure.
I'm still going to be eating. So
Awesome. So the entertainment is on.
that's right.
I'm probably gonna I'm gonna kind of embrace that we're in a very weird place at this point. I'm just gonna chat up the goblin. So goblins, huh? You know?
Humans, huh?
Small talk ensues.
Yep.
All right, here we go. First roll. It's an 8.
An 8. Okay. So all of the creatures reveal their dice cups, and you can see that one of the goblins has a 7, and this other, not Jaspy, but the other Grimalkin reveals their cup, and it is a 7. So the two of them, they start to split the pot. Although there is a little bit of an argument that comes up once it gets down to the matter of your quartz, because there's a dispute about how much it is worth, and they're starting to get kind of agitated with one another as they're arguing about, how to compensate the other for a proportion of the coin to the opposite person that takes the entity that takes the the gem.
While they're engaged in all of this conversation or whatever, I do want to be standing behind the two little Grimalkin, and I want to make note of where their pouches are.
Sure. They both have a bag. It seems that they have in front of their chair. It's underneath the table, and they've got their feet kind of dangling just above the bag. It seems like both of them has a sizable sack of treasure and coin.
When they pull my quartz out of the center of the table, I give a very furtive look at Thomas, and then I look again at Lillibeth, and then I look at the good Friar. I don't look at Sir Silas. I don't look at Geoffrey, and I'm just like, and then I cast color spray.
Okay, you cast color spray. All right.
I just poof right in their face. So
all right. So
I was waiting for someone to shake head no. No one did.
Oh, wait. I would have.
so
Pending.
I believe, what is it that you roll? I don't have that book
So,
handy, but
I
it's a number
roll
of hit dice,
D6.
right?
Yeah, I roll a d6 to see how many of the creatures are affected. It's a 20-foot long cone. But I'm imagining and it's 20 foot wide at the end. I'm imagining I can just blast everyone that's in range.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it's gonna be a d6 and see how many are affected. And it's 5. So 5 of them are affected. So the way this works depends on their hit die. So my hit die is 1. If they're equal to that or lower than that, they are knocked unconscious. So any of them have a 1 hit die.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you hit 5 of them.
Okay.
So then, well,
They are unconscious.
Is that all of them, or is that all but the one that's not at the table?
so I think they get some saves versus magic basically here. So we'll see.
I'm not sure.
It's never specified in any of the spells that there's a saving throw. It's not like 5e, but it's just,
Got it.
like if you cast a sleep, it'd be the same thing.
Well, the reason why though it says that, I guess the effect. So it says knocked unconscious for 2d4 rounds. Creatures of 6 HD or greater may save versus spells. So I was kind of interpreting that as you only get the save if you have 6 HD, 6 hit die. Well, that means they auto save. But you know what? Let you rule it.
Well, I'll edit this out later, but I want to look it up because I want to be able to read it and learn this.
Yeah, for sure.
So that would have been in the advanced set magic.
Yeah. Do you have it? I can also copy paste.
Yeah, I've got it up here. I just have to go
Okay,
to Illusionist
cool.
spells, color spray. Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be...
I think the effect is just if they fail, depending on their hit die, what happens to them basically. But
got it. Okay.
Their save, they have to hit above an 18 to save. So more than likely, they're not good at this, right? So more than likely, you're going to be fine. 1, 2, 3.
Spell saves are tough in this edition.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And especially for them. So, the 5 of the goblins end up being unconscious. And they just kind of drop over as you hit them in the face with that color spray, that bewildering light. They drop face forward, thunk. And the 2 Grimalkin pop up, and one of we'll say I guess it makes sense that the goblin over by the door is not hit with this color spray. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a morale check to see how these 2 creatures, what their kind of response is, whether it's a fight or flight type thing.
Cool. And I'm gonna, as I cast it, I'm yelling, "Grab the gold and go!"
I'll probably draw my sword at the goblin that I'm chatting up as soon as I see the magic go off too.
Okay. Basically, how I'm going to treat this is sort of the surprise thing. Like, this is the surprise. Everybody is kind of surprised the spell just went off, and then depending on what transpires here, we'll see if we need to roll into an initiative and work that out. So I just have to look at the Dolmenwood monster book quick for Grimalkin.
So goblins and moving skeletons, and how about you?
like a samurai, just right out.
Okay, as that happens, both Jaspy and this other one kind of hop up, and you can see they kind of bare their claws, razor
Uh-oh.
sharp,
Crap.
like daggers on the ends of their fingers. The goblin.
I'm sorry, everyone, if we're TPK'd.
Hey, listen, we can. It sounds like I don't know. We might be able to negotiate with these guys. Look, you keep your money, we'll take the goblin's money. Everybody's happy. We all leave.
The goblin pulls out his dagger and he just yells, "We're being robbed!" So we're gonna move into our first ever combat encounter.
We're gonna die.
Now you know how we feel, is what I shout back at the goblins.
The first thing that we need to do to kick this off is we need an initiative roll. And so initiative is a communal thing. You guys are going to roll a d6. I'm going to roll a d6, and we're going to see which side goes first. So do you want to elect somebody on yours amongst you to be the caller, I guess, for this?
Weymund got us into this mess.
I was gonna say, yeah. I think it's Weymund's roles.
Doubling down on our luck here.
Yeah.
All right.
Had one bad roll, had one good roll. Now for the. Come on. It's a 2.
It is a 2. The enemies are going to go first. And so I just need to like kind of suss out kind of where everyone is. So Weymund, you're still at the table, having just cast the spell.
Yeah, I stood up and cast it, but right there. I'm like leaning over the table.
Where is Thomas?
Thomas was standing with a platter kind of in his hand, eating, watching what was going on.
Were you specifically positioned behind the Grimalkin?
That is correct.
Okay.
Kind of in between them.
I got Geoffrey is over by the door where the goblin is, who just pulled out the weapon. How about Friar Fitzpatrick and Lillibeth? Where would you be?
Friar would probably be kind of center of the room, as he was kind of just maybe honestly he'd probably be behind Weymund, as he had kind of was over there anyway before he prayed.
Kind of like maybe just over his shoulder at the table where he's just popped up. Yep. Okay. And how about Lillibeth?
I would have been lounging against the door jamb, and I'm not lounging right now.
Okay. That sounds good. So the gray-furred Grimalkin that's wearing the beret, like, puts out its cigar and jumps up on the table and is going to move across the table and, like, is right near Weymund. I'll run through, like, the stages of combat here. Just to reiterate it a few times so we can get the process down. So basically, the sequence of combat is at the beginning, you declare spells or retreats. So if you have a spell to cast, you have to say so at the top of your initiative count. And that's basically all you're doing that turn. Like, you can't move. All you're doing is concentrating on casting that spell. If you're engaged in combat or the group wants to retreat from a combat, that is declared before anything else happens. And, you can't mix it up or switch or change your mind after we start going through the process. Like, it's kind of at the beginning. So after that happens, and that actually, I already messed that up because that's actually supposed to happen before we even roll for initiative. Before we know which group is going first and which group is going second. But we'll get it eventually. So then they won initiative. They're going first. The first thing that happens is movement. So everybody simultaneously on the side that is currently in initiative moves. So gray-haired one is jumping up on the table, going right towards Weymund. Jaspy is grabbing one of the two bags that are under the table and running up the marble staircase. And I'm going to say with its movement, doesn't quite get to the door to open it and leave the room, but is at the top of the landing. And it looks like is very much trying to abscond with this wealth and continue up into the tower. I would say you could see that Jaspy looks at the other door for a moment, but with Sir Geoffrey there kind of blocking the way, maybe made an assessment of, I'm going to take the path of least resistance. The goblin is going to stay put. It's just turned its attention to Geoffrey and has a weapon bared. So then the next thing that happens is missile attacks. So anybody that would be using a missile attack would do so at this time. I don't have any, so we're going to move into melee attacks. So we'll start with the Grimalkin right by Weymund. We'll make an attack roll.
All right, y'all. Here we go. This is it.
How many hit points do you have? What,
I
like
have 3.
2? Oh man.
I rolled a 22 to hit.
No.
Hit. My AC is 10.
No.
Yeah.
And 3 hit points of damage.
I die.
So let's see. I had some rules that I had adapted for this kind of situation. So it was 3 damage that you took. So I'm just going to read this out loud so you can help me to adjudicate the situation. So hit points represent a character's ability to keep incoming damage from damaging their flesh. Any damage that cannot be soaked up by their hit points becomes lethal damage. Whenever a PC takes lethal damage, roll on this table, referencing the severity along the left side of the table and hit location along the top. Okay. And there is a table there. You gain the listed injury as well as all injuries above it. Interpret results logically. A crushing blow can't actually sever a leg, but it can cripple it to the same effect. To me, we don't have to do anything yet because you really didn't take any lethal damage. We hit your HP exact. So I think I'm going to rule that this just brings you unconscious.
Okay.
If I had rolled a 4, then we would have to do a roll. We would figure out what the hit location was by rolling a d6, and then we would roll severity, which would be a d12 plus the lethal damage. So like in the case of I rolled a 4, it would be a d12 plus 1, the overage, plus the number of current injuries you have. So if you'd stacked up a number of injuries, those would factor in as well.
Cool. So
that seem fair? If it's like right on the money, it's not actually a lethal.
That seems fair.
Zang.
I think anything seems fair.
Yeah. That's right.
He's still alive. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So I cast the spell, I yell it out, and then this cat just across the table and just slashes me across the chest, and I just go on the ground.
The Friar's sitting there behind you. Going,
I don't know. This little thing is like a little bit more frantic and maybe deranged than Jaspy, and it's just like slashing at your face, and it's just like, you want to go all in? You want to go all in? Meanwhile, Jaspy's like, holy crap, running off with a little bag. The goblin over by Geoffrey is going to take a swing with, what did I say? Has a dagger, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember, honestly.
And just kind of clumsily pulls it out and kind of stabs around, pretty wide stabbing motion. You manage to just kind of backpedal, and it stabs like right into the wooden door.
Nice.
And that is it for the characters here. And so that's going to bring it over to your initiative. And so any of you wanting to take any movement this turn?
Do we start off with movement?
Yes, movement would happen first.
Okay, so we've got 2 Grimalkins, one on the table, one of them heading towards me.
One of them heading up the stairway to the I guess it would be the 5th floor now.
Okay, and can I see them from where I'm standing?
Yes. There's no the stairway just follows the curvature of the tower, and there's no railing or anything, so you can see it as it's moving up to the next floor.
Okay, so I'm don't know how to describe this movement. I'm going to have to plant my feet, but I want to plant it so that I can track the path of the Grimalkin up the stairs. And then when we attack, I'll do something.
Okay. Say that again. Are you moving like to the base of the stairs, just like watching
I'm moving
it?
to the base of the stairs so that I can take a clean. I could potentially take a clean shot. So I'm positioning myself
Okay.
to do that.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Any other movement that anyone wants to take?
I don't need to move to hit this goblin. I assume it's right in front of me.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, then no movement.
All right, then we will go to any ranged attacks.
Okay, so I do want to use a ranged attack, and I would be aiming. So can I say that it's a non-lethal attack?
You cannot. Piercing
Okay.
arrow.
Piercing arrow would be piercing.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and so then I just roll a d20.
Yep.
Okay, which one? This one. A 20 to hit.
20 to hit will definitely land into the flesh of the tabby-furred Grimalkin.
Okay, and then I'm not exactly sure. Then how do I roll damage?
What are you using?
I'm using my
Longbow?
short bow.
Or short bow. I believe anybody can correct me, but I'm pretty sure short bow is D6.
I think that's right.
Did not write that down. Sorry. Okay. And it's 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage. So an arrow.
Oh no, never mind. It was +1 to attack, not to damage.
Yep. So arrow sinks into the fur of Jasper. You can see she sort of arches her back a little bit with that piercing wound. It's sort of a grazing wound, I guess. Maybe right over the shoulder. It doesn't actually stick into her flesh, but you cut into her. And
can I say something?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just stop. I really don't want to kill you.
All right. Call that out. I just wanted to make a comment that subdual damage is a thing. You can do non-lethal, but it has to be with like a bludgeoning weapon, or you'd have to use like maybe like the butt end of a sword or something, and so it'll do less damage than cutting the thing. But it is possible to do that, just not with the ranged. Any other ranged attacks?
I would, in my surprise or whatever, I would drop the platter and draw a dagger and throw it at the Grimalkin that just slew my friend.
Okay. Perfect.
So let's see. That's a 19 on the die, so +1 is 20.
That will hit.
And I think a dagger's a D4, right?
Yep.
4.
All right. So
Boosh!
4 points of damage to Lil Cotton Socks.
Yep.
It really doesn't make it as much fun when they've got cute names like Poppletail and
It makes it even more fun. That makes it even more fun.
I feel like
We know
bad
that
now.
Weymund just got taken down by little cotton socks.
When we have to get to the point of putting the tombstone together, we gotta put that. That's gotta be engraved in it.
Suppose I
He
would.
fought bravely against Little Cotton Socks.
Master of his craft, slain by Lil Cotton Socks. Get the apostrophe in there too. It's gotta be Lil.
Yes.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not certain how this works, but basically I'm drawing the dagger and throwing it, and then I want to draw another dagger and my sword.
Okay,
So I don't know if that then goes to the next
I'm good with that.
segment. So
Yeah, sounds good. Then we will move into melee attacks.
Um,
I'll be attacking this goblin with my sword for sure.
Awesome, sounds good.
3 probably doesn't hit.
3 will not hit, unfortunately. Friar Fitzpatrick, though.
Friar Fitzpatrick, kind of startled, goes under his robe and brings out like a pretty impressive looking like mace. Like you'd notice that it would it would look kind of similar to the mace his brother had, and he brings it out and just like tries to like almost give the little cotton socks like an uppercut with his mace like to his chin. I was just like, oh. Um, 13.
13 will not hit. The agility of Lil Cotton Socks manages to kind of leap back as that uppercut comes from the. What kind of a mace is it? Is it like just like a ball with spikes, or is it kind of like a flanged mace? Or
Yeah, I would say it's more of a blunt kind of villain mace.
cool.
Definitely not like sharp or anything like that.
Sounds good. So
Like a round ball with a bunch of other round nubs on it or
Uh-huh.
something.
Yeah.
hey, Alex, I have a question. Is your damage from strength? Do you just get that? Would I get that with my dagger being thrown, or
that's a good question. I'm gonna say. I'll say yes.
then it would be 5 damage?
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that would be.
Going down, Cotton Socks.
Yeah.
Go down.
1
Please
hit
go
point
down.
at a time. The 2 brothers can't hit it, but
That hit would have slew any one of us, I say.
That's true.
Yeah, it's 100% true.
All right. So it's another initiative round. So Winston, if you want to give the D6.
4.
All right, we tied, so we'll roll again.
Again?
Yep. I roll a 2.
5.
5.
Nice.
All right.
I would like to cast a spell.
Oh, sorry. I should have asked that ahead of time, but absolutely.
we're learning. We'll get there.
So
As he goes, as he kind of goes up, he'll reach down and touch Weymund and kind of call out to Saint Lillibeth a prayer that the breath of Lillibeth restores your life through the true God. It's all right, and you and I'll cast a Cure Wounds.
is this a saint that you got off the list?
Yes.
Is it just happenstance that it
I
sounds
was
remarkably
thinking.
similar to Lillibeth?
It's exactly
Yes.
Lillibeth. That's the Saint Lillibeth. Yeah.
All right. So spell effects happen at the end of everything else happening, but yeah.
Okay.
Fortunately, you won initiative, so this will happen at the end here. So start things off. Movement for anybody?
I don't know if this would be movement, but I want to take a step forward and I want to kick the table with my right foot to hopefully slide the table over Waymund's body and have Cotton Socks move towards me, maybe stumble and fall in my
And
direction.
Alex, you said that the other pouch is still under the chair that Cotton Socks or that Poppletail was in.
Yeah. Well, Poppletail took her bag, but the bag belonging to Cotton Socks is still there. So yeah, let's call that. I think when it's called like moving the table with a gesture like that would be an action. Would you want to use your action for that?
No, because I want to be able to attack the thing.
Okay. No problem. So it sounds like we're good on probably movement for now. Waymund is just like in the in the chair right there, and Cotton Socks is right there just clawing at his face. Friar right behind, casting the spell. Any ranged attacks?
I'm just making a decision based on what was said at the table, including this is not a friend of mine. And so I'm gonna check and see, do I have line of sight on Cotton Socks on the table from where I'm at?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna shift the focus of my attack because I mean, you know, I talked to one of them. I didn't really talk to the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot at the one that just attacked a member of my party and doesn't look like they're going to let up anytime soon. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot or try to. Yeah. And oh no, I did not hit.
Okay.
It was a 5.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other ranged attacks? We'll move into melee. Any melee attacks? All right.
Yeah,
Sir
I'll
Geoffrey.
All right. Better than a 3 this time. Better than a 3. Oh, 19.
19 will connect. Go ahead and roll your
Alright.
damage.
So I believe it's a D6. 2.
Do you get any pluses?
That's with. No.
Oh, that's with the plus? Oh my
I think
gosh.
I have just a plus to my attack. There's nothing to the damage.
Okay. Go ahead and describe to me your slaying of the goblin.
Nice.
So yeah, after having kind of slashed and missed with the first attack with my sword, this is kind of coming back with a upward motion. Probably, you know, cleaving him in two and just like having him anime style slide like this way down.
You cleave into his body and cleave him into two. His body drops, and you just hear the clanging of the dagger on the stone floor here. Other melee. Oh, go ahead.
I'll probably just point my sword at little britches and say, "Stay where you are."
Sounds good. Any other melee we have?
I was moving forward on, around the table to get an attack
All right.
on Cotton Socks. Now I have short sword and dagger.
Okay, so you can roll 2d20, basically the 5e version of advantage you've got on this attack.
Okay. Ooh, that's good. I have advantage because that was a 1 and a 16.
Okay, the 16 will hit. Do some damage to Lil Cotton Socks.
And a short sword is a D6, yeah?
Yes.
That's a 4 plus 1 is 5.
All right. Awesome. I think that resolves everything except for the spell. So we'll go to Friar Fitzpatrick.
All right. Friar Fitzpatrick will say exactly what he said. Something, something, something. You're all right. And then whatever rhymes with all right. And then he's going to go ahead and cast that spell. It's good that I went a little bit later because I did not have the Cure Wounds spell up when we first started. We started this game. I didn't think that we would need it yet. So you will be getting 1d6 hit points back.
Nice.
Plus 1. Let's see. Oh, great. 2 hit points back. That was not.
Hey, that's 66%. That's good.
And then quick rules question. I was looking at my strength score, right? And it says melee attack damage open door. So if my attack bonus is +1, is that for attack and damage?
You get your strength modifier added to melee, I think. Or
Is
get
it
a
both your
+1.
attack and the damage, or just the attack?
So the attack bonus, yeah, it's just attack.
Okay. Then I'm doing it right.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Are you okay? The character sheet does say
your
slash damage.
your base attack bonus doesn't add to the damage.
Okay. I see what you're
Strength
saying.
Okay, yeah, because it says strength modifier to melee. Oh, it does say attack slash damage. Okay, but it's saying just attack then. Cool.
Sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're asking me. Say it again.
So, like, my strength is 13, right? My bonus is +1.
Oh,
right?
you're
I can
asking about
see
your
them
strength bonus. Yeah, strength.
Yeah.
Strength would be both.
On both. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay, so I was doing it wrong. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, because there's also an attack bonus separately. I think if you're a knight, you get some attack bonuses and stuff.
Just some other
Yeah, you've got
stuff.
as you level
You've
up.
got a scaling base attack bonus that applies to basically everybody. So if you ever look at your character class progression,
That's true.
there's I guess it's not called base attack bonus, it's called the THACO. So
You hit AC 0.
we're not doing THACO, but basically the thing that's in the brackets is base attack bonus. So
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just had some healing that happened at the hands of Friar Fitzpatrick to Weymund. I think I'm going to make the ruling here because I hadn't really thought about what does it look like after a downed character comes back up during combat. I think I'm going to say it's 1 round after you've been resuscitated to kind of get back up standing. You forfeit your turn, your action, like your whole turn. That round is just getting back up or laying back or just waking up, whether you stay down prone
or staying. Yeah. I'm dead.
So that was the end of you guys won the initiative there, so it goes to the enemies now. So let's see, no magic or anything like that, so we would move right into movement. Jaspy Poppletail at the top there kind of gives a lick of the wound that it suffered from the grazing of the arrow and opens up that wooden door, and that's where she goes, and she closes the door behind her as she leaves. That'll be her action. Goblin is down. Really all we have left here is Cotton Socks. So Cotton Socks is going to turn its ire to the Friar. Try to slash at your face.
Oh
no.
And it just says, as it tries to do this, like, "You take that God, one true God shit and stuff it." 19 to hit.
Fuck. Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I've killed you. I've killed us all.
2 points of damage.
Ooh.
Give me a second.
Oh, man, you're making us sweat.
I'm fine.
I think Friar.
I'm good. Still up.
All
He got
right.
a little.
So that brings us to another initiative order. So Winston D6.
All right.
I have a
Come
2.
on.
Alex,
5.
was Sir Silas doing anything?
Oh, you're right. Sir Silas should be in here too. Sir Silas would be trying to hit. Let me roll. Thanks for reminding me of that. He would be over by Jaspy, taking a swing with his longsword, and he rolls and he hits. And he does 4 points of damage.
Good.
Nice.
So Little Cotton Socks is looking pretty bloodied after that blow. Let's see. What did you have for the initiative roll?
5.
5. Okay, so you guys are up first. Any
spells?
I'm gonna keep doing it wrong. Yeah. But any spells or retreats? So then we'll go into movement. Any movement that anybody wishes at this point.
Actually,
Yeah.
I did have a question about retreats. What is the definition of a retreat? Like running away from the fight?
Running away from the fight. Yep. So,
So you wouldn't use movement to run away. You would retreat.
it would be kind of go into almost like a different procedure.
Okay.
Where you'd be using your it'd be basically a question of, okay, if you all are retreating, we have to compare your slowest member with the enemy and see if there's even reason to continue the pursuit. If you're faster than the thing that you're running away from, it's just like essentially an automatic. If they have range attacks or whatever, I might have like one last like hurrah where they're trying to hit you as you're on your way out. But yeah, we just have to like figure out. We'd have to go into the retreat procedure.
Cool.
As far as like moving away from a melee, that basically is like your whole turn if you're gonna withdraw, and you move back half your movement to do that.
Got it. Cool.
So not hearing any movement, we'll go into any. Oh,
I would move
Wait.
to Cotton Socks, where if I'm by the door and Cotton Socks is at the table, I'm gonna move to engage in melee with him.
okay. It's getting pretty crowded there around the table, but yes, you can absolutely do that.
Especially he just took a swipe at my bro.
And Lillibeth,
It is getting crowded around the table, and everybody's attacking the cat or cat person. And I'm a little bit worried about accidentally hitting somebody if I shoot into that mess. So I am going to move over to where I'm going to stay out of range of the cat, but I'm going to go ahead and move over to where Thomas is standing.
okay. Any ranged attacks?
No ranged attacks, no nothing. I'm just going to go ahead and move out of, basically move to where he's standing, because I have to figure he was standing there for a reason.
Sounds good. Any melee attacks in the group?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go right down the line here. Fire Fitzpatrick.
After that prayer, he stands up and swings his mace kind of haphazardly back. Take this and shove it! He yells. 15?
15 hits.
Oh, okay.
Get the kill shot, Friar.
4 points.
4 points. Flat. You ball the mace right squarely in the face of Lil Cotton Socks, and its whole nose, it's just bleeding out, but it's a little bit dazed, but still standing. Other melee attacks.
Yeah, I'm gonna swing.
All right. Sir Silas misses as well.
I need to get D20. Hang on, let me actually do that.
I will attack Cotton Socks one more time and say your fur is going to look nice adorning my cloak. There's a 4 and then a 16, so a 17.
17 hits.
Uh, 3 plus 1 is 4.
Describe to us how you finish it.
Swinging with, faking him out with my dagger. He goes to block that. I put the short sword right through its little neck and kind of slowly lay it down on the table.
And its body goes limp, and it just slides off of the blade and is laying on top of the ill-begotten coin and such that they'd been gambling with.
I'm gonna come to. Oh, go ahead, Thomas.
And then I was just gonna say, we should dispatch these goblins as well.
The ones that are passed out, right?
Okay.
Just so you know, we only have a few more seconds before they wake up. That spell's not permanent, so we have 5 more rounds before they wake up. I rolled a 7 on the how many rounds.
And do they wake up if we attack them?
Basically, if you attack, like you could just execute them, like sort of
You
how it
only
works
need-
if you're unconscious and they're weak.
Does
As
anybody
weak
have
as
any,
weak as a goblin is, it's just a coup de grace.
Does anybody have any moral objections? I'm looking at
Absolutely.
my brother. Oh. So do we tie him up then? I mean, I'm, they're goblins, so I'm kind of inclined to smite them, but it does seem the rule of law would be, to go with the group if anybody has moral objections.
Well-
So do we want to tie him up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
And I just want to point out that I'm not at all a church-going person, and I'm really pretty much in this for myself, and I've never made any bones about this. But what we just did now, here in this moment, pretty much borders on evil from where I'm standing.
Yes,
And I just
yes.
puff out of the room.
Oh, okay. Well,
As you're saying that, I'm starting to tie him because we don't have much time.
so who so a couple of logistics questions here. So the plan is in this couple of rounds that Weymund has bought you, you're going to tie them up. Who has the rope in which you're tying them up?
I have a 50-foot rope.
Okay.
I do too.
So I would say for the moment being, maybe scratch that out, or that has sort of been consumed, at least for the time being. This is kind of like you're just piling the bodies together in like one big like lasso around them kind of style. Okay. So whoever's doing that, just maybe cross that off for the moment, just to account for that.
I crossed it off mine for now.
So no problem. You're more than capable of doing that before they start to kind of groggily wake up. Lillibeth, you have huffed out of the room. Which way are you doing that? Are you going up or down?
Well, I'm really leery about going down back into the room because I have no idea what the skeletons might do. So I'm going to shut that door and then go stomp up to the top of the stairs.
Okay. I think I will. I'm going to address that in just a second, but just see what's going on with the rest of the group as Weymund, Fitzpatrick, Geoffrey, and Thomas, as well as Sir Silas, are. It's a team effort here because you gotta pull the bodies off of the chairs and round them up and everything. So you managed to do that.
I'll probably, tell Silas or somebody, like, gather while we do this, gather the coin and everything, and take an accounting, so that we can figure out where we stand. And I'll just share my point of view that, quite frankly, if we have gained our coin back and we can continue our travels, like, I see no reason to pursue any further, because even though this food is delicious, like, I think everybody, like, yeah, it's a little creepy here,
Well, that was the plan. Just blood comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was
We need to work on
Try-
our signals.
trying to blind them so that we could grab the coin and run, but they got the jump on us. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
it maybe staring at me. It's the best way to let me know what you're about to do.
As he's like finishing tying the bow.
I winked, remember? I said it. I'm either getting the coat back or I'm getting it back.
And if you remember, I winked back.
That's right. There were several winks.
Here, get up.
Contract. When we were in prison together, how do we not figure this out right now?
I need to learn the winking thing, this winking communication.
So the eye arch is useful. But...
I need to learn how to brother. I cannot do it.
That's right now. Come on.
I'm gonna grab my quartz if it's still on the table someplace. Is it?
The quartz is still on the table. So real quick, sort of a rough accounting of what you see as you're trying to assess, like, how are you doing in the wealth department. So in the center of the table is a fair share of coin. And I would say interesting that it is exclusively gold. So there, you would assess that there is about 350 gold pieces worth of coins scattered about the table. Your quartz is there in the middle, as is a porcelain bowl. It seems like maybe one of these goblins was like you, showed up, no coin, but I've got this fancy bowl, and decided to buy in with that. It's interesting because the porcelain bowl is painted, and it looks like in the bottom of the bowl is a coat of arms. And I'm going to pop an image up of this. And this is this triggers a memory of just earlier today when you had arrived at the Falls of Nim, that the guards, the patrol, were wearing tabards with this symbol on it, a house symbol, and it was on their shields. Inside the large bag that was dangling under the gray-haired Grimalkin is... we will say roughly 80 to 100 gold pieces of coin. So for sure, based on what you have here, it's more than... this isn't just your stuff, it's others as well. Okay, with that, I want to go over to what we have going on with Lillibeth. So you open the door at the top of the stairs to leave the room, get a little bit of privacy. And so what you look at as you do so is this looks like you're looking into some kind of like a greenhouse. In the entire circular chamber here, same diameter, same floor space as the previous chambers down below. But here there's these dirt beds with little green small plants, small shrubberies, even maybe some kind of small like fruit trees, things that are maybe no more than 10 to 12 feet tall. And throughout there's sort of like natural stone, or not natural, but stone paths that have been landscaped throughout the chamber with trellises, arches that kind of mark the way. And each of these trellises made of wood have different vines that have kind of crept up with big broad-leafed, kind of ochre colored yellowish leaves. And there's light. There's sort of like, it's like a green light that kind of filters magically from the ceiling. Like the whole ceiling is just illuminated in this. And there's not so much foliage that you can't see across the room. You would see that there is another staircase, just like identical to all the others that you've seen, follows the pattern of the wall up to another doorway. However, as you're looking over there, there's sort of a weird fuchsia-colored mist that kind of lingers about. It seems like the focus of it is probably the doorway at the top of the stairs. And it extends down to the floor. So it runs the entire stairway from doorway to the bottom of the floor. And over there's a small pig that is kind of oinking about. And you see a bag laying at the base of the stair. The pig is maybe moving over to the bag and kind of like grabbing at it and trying to pull it up the stairs.
Does the pig have a little beret on?
It does not, but there's a little cape that's maybe laying
A little
nearby.
cape, that's right.
Yes. If I can move through the paths to get to the pig and pick up the pig. I know the pig is probably not going to cooperate, but I would like to try to pick up the pig for sure.
Okay. So you begin to move over there, and you're going to go and try to pick up the pig.
I am going to say, look, I really, really didn't want to hurt you. We just wanted our money back because I'm assuming that somehow or another the pig must be the Grimalkin. I've given up on thinking anything's weird at this point. And so, but I do want the money back. That was a dirty trick to play. And so I just want to try and pick up both the pig and the money, actually, the
Okay.
bag.
So there's quite a deal of squealing and squirming. It's a full-sized pig. So
Yes. Oh God.
yeah, it's
That's not even possible.
you're more or less trying to just wrestle the bag out of its mouth as it's trying to
Yes.
kind of keep it. Those of you down in the floor below, you hear this racket coming from the open door.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna head up and see what the racket is for sure.
Alex, do you think we might be able to take about 5 minutes?
Yes, that sounds good. Let's take a 5-10 minute break here. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us here this morning. We'll take a quick break, and then we've got maybe about an hour more gameplay or so. So stick around, and we will be right back. Of course, we are coming right back as the noon. The city emergency sirens are going off.
Mhm.
So I don't know if my mic is picking it up. We'll just wait just a moment, just in case. But I don't know. Can you guys hear it?
I'm not hearing anything now.
Not hearing anything.
Okay, then it'll just annoy me and not anyone else. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us here as we are entering into the second half of our Dolmenwood session for today. The characters have just have found successfully where their wealth is, as well as some coinage that can't possibly have belonged to them, because there is much more here than had been robbed from them by the two Grimalkin, Jaspy Poppletail and Lil Cotton Socks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Tom Cotton Socks.
Doesn't matter, because Lil Cotton Socks is no more and will be remembered by no one. And you were all there were a number of goblins that were here as well. They were all engaging in some gambling and carousing in the chamber, but had a little bit of a combat encounter here. And the goblins have been successfully roped up and tied up, and as the Weymund, Friar Fitzpatrick, Sir Geoffrey, and Thomas were engaged with that, Lillibeth had gone upstairs to this next chamber, which appears to be some kind of an arcane greenhouse of sorts. And you notice that across the way there was a wispy pinkish mist, and nearby was a sack of coin that had been previously being hauled off by Jaspy Poppletail. But no sign of Jaspy, just a big old pig kind of lingering about, futilely trying to use its maw to grab hold of that sack of coin and maybe drag it up the staircase. But Lillibeth has moved over there and is currently wrestling with the pig to get at this sack of coin. The pig is squealing and making quite a racket. Enough so that did all of you go upstairs to see what was going on?
Yeah.
Okay, so the four
I
of you,
forgot what me for sure.
four of you move up there just as the goblins are kind of hollering at you like, "Hey, you can't keep us tied up like this. Where are you going?" You all make your way up there. You also see this garden laid out with the stone paths that follow right under these arched trellises that have some vine growth creeping up them. And I would say you look on in horror as you notice that from the ceiling is this green goop that is oozing down and drops right on Lillibeth and another bit that drops right on the pig. And as this ooze covers you, and I imagine you drop the bag as you could feel this burning sensation of the contact of this sludge starts to eat at. You can just see like little hairs on your arm dissolving. Your face is just burning as it's eating into your skin. The pig as well is just starting to kind of like freak out and run. It runs over to like the side of the wall. It starts to like trying to scrape at itself, but to no avail. This stuff is thick, like syrup, and it's just smearing it about the wall.
And I'm covered.
And you're covered.
Okay. There goes my hair. Oh, man.
Try the dust, I shout.
Do I have dust in my pouch?
Come this way. Come to us.
I
should
can't
not go through this.
see.
Follow my voice. Oh.
Oh, this hurts like hell. Okay, so I'm following their voice. Am I tripping over everything in the way?
There's not. You trip a little bit. Like there's maybe like the flower beds have a little bit of a lip to them, but you stumble. You're able to kind of follow their voices, and you stumble over there. Takes you maybe about 30 seconds to get over there.
Okay, and I'm imagining that my skin is just raw at this point.
And what are you wearing? Like leather armor or some such?
I have leather armor. Yes.
Those of you that are looking on as she runs over there, you can see holes. It's kind of deteriorating pretty rapidly.
Take off your clothes.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Come on down here. Take them off. Come on.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I start pulling my clothes off. I have sort of the normal binding for my breast and whatever loinclothy kind of thing that people would wear, and that's it underneath the armor.
Okay, you're doing your best. You probably don't even make it. Like you're starting to shed the clothing, but it's still like this green slime is just stuck to your face, and it is burned off your hair.
Yes.
And to undo your leather armor would take at least a little bit of time. And
Absolutely.
the rest of you could just see that Lillibeth is struggling, and the pain is clearly getting to her.
We throw some water on her, or some oil or something.
not
No oil.
No oil.
I think he would try to get some of his kind of robes and try to rip a piece off and start trying to get it off of her face, like as best as he could. Try to get some of that.
Okay.
I know. Just keep on doing it, but God, it hurts.
As you apply the cloth to the slime to try to wipe it away, it just dissolves the cloth.
Oh.
I don't know. Powder. What powder were you guys talking about? I mean.
Oh yeah, maybe that the from the puff that you collected.
Do you want to see if this?
I mean, I don't know if it sees. Well, you can tell if it's poisonous, right? But I don't know if it neutralizes it. But it's worth a shot. We can always collect more.
How about there's dirt around? You said.
Yeah, there's beds of
Plants and stuff.
Earth, dirt that the plants are being cultivated in.
I'm assuming that at this point we're not stepping in there.
No, I'm not stepping in there. And a matter of fact, I'm gonna look while my brother is kind of helping her. I'm gonna assume this is his forte, right? My forte is kind of physical protection, and so I'm gonna automatically go into defense mode and be like, guys, get her down the stairs, get her on the table. Figure that let's get somewhere safe and away from this. And I'm gonna look up and see if I see any more stuff coming from the ceiling, or just kind of survey around see if anything's happening.
The light filtering into the room is no longer green. It's still arcane light, but this substance apparently was the thing that was filtering the light down, and so that is no longer. You look over across the room, the pig is not squealing or screaming anymore. It's just laying down, and you can see its flesh starting to dissolve right down to the muscle tissue.
Oh,
poor.
Papa.
Oh, we've got to get this off of her fast, guys. Any kind of like, I have a backpack. I don't have any kind of like rags or anything. I guess.
Can you maybe scrape it off with your sword and like just?
Yeah, I'll try. I'm gonna try to get it off of her, like I guess like keeping it off of my skin, covering myself. Try to like almost like give her a very close shave, and try to get it off with my sword as best I can.
Roll me a d6.
Oh, come on.
Do it.
2.
2?
Yeah.
So that is what I was looking for, a 1 or a 2.
Oh.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Now, as you start to do this, it seems like it is working to remove it from Lillibeth, but what ends up happening is the slime is transferring off of her flesh onto your blade,
Okay.
and it seems like it is maybe more desiring of that substance, and as it does so, it takes hold of the blade and starts to corrode it and dissolve it to the point that it's pretty rapid. It starts to like siphon off of her body, come onto your blade, and to the point where you have to drop your sword for fear that it's going to come and make contact with your skin.
Okay.
And what you do is you drop it and you watch as your sword given to you when you took your oaths to your house fades before your very eyes, leaving nothing. But it
Yeah,
seems that the interaction between the slime and that sword, that slime is still there. It kind of grows, or it's kind of pooling on the floor there.
Take my backpack off. I pull out a torch. I say, most things don't like fire. I take my tinderbox. I light the torch, and I touch the torch to the pool to see if it has any effect.
It sure does. It just starts to dissolve and burn away.
Oh, gosh.
lessons learned.
Well,
Hey,
Do we
face,
see?
face,
Do we
face.
see? Do we see any sign of? Because one dropped on Lillibeth and one dropped on the pig. Pig is over there.
Pig is a pile of disgusting.
Is he covered in green, or do we see anything green moving about?
There's still a heap of slime over there that is moving its way towards that bag of coin.
I think we should burn that motherfucker and get the coin. I guess we do move in, maybe.
I hand a torch to them. Whoever's going to go up and get that, but I tell two of the others to hold Lillibeth still
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
strike up another torch. I say, this is going to hurt. And I begin touching the torch to my companion's face and arms and everywhere.
You manage to, in doing that, whatever little bits of the green slime remain, deteriorate and dissolve in the presence of the heat. Lillibeth, the possessions that you had on your body, such as your leather, like you are, even though you were trying to shed this clothing,
Mm-hmm.
there really isn't anything left to shed at this point. It was burning right through all the material, and it made contact with your skin is like red. Couple seconds longer, and you would have been looking like the pig over there. So your leather armor is gone. You had we'll say like, yeah, like what else did you have? You had your bow that would be
I had
dissolved.
I had I had both the long bow and the short bow, I'm assuming,
Okay,
plus all the arrows.
all of that is dissolved.
Okay, so my backpack.
Gone. Yep.
Okay, then that means I have nothing. pretty much. Except for, no, it probably would have eaten the crowbar too.
Yes, but you have your life.
Which is something to be grateful for. That, and I'm hoping that the fact that I had really curly red hair caused it to take a little while to get through all that curly red hair. Maybe my face isn't quite so bad, or my hands or my arms. I
It's
imagine those are worse.
it's not disfiguring enough that this won't heal in time. But yeah, right now you look like you made contact with, I don't know, like the most severe of sunburns, and your flesh is kind of peeling in a bit. So, given time, it will heal, and there probably will be some scarring. But
Assuming that it is all gone or whatever, and she's basically doesn't have any clothes or anything, I take off my cloak and allow her to cover up.
Yeah, and
Thank
while this
you.
is going on, I'm going to move across the room, waving the fire about, and pretty quickly, I don't have my sword, but I will have my mace drawn in case something else comes out. Basically, I'm going to try to get to the bag, move it out of the way, burn the thing, and take the bag back to the group.
yeah, you managed to do that, having detected what would work here. You managed to make it over there in time to save your treasure that you were missing.
She took everything, though, too, right? Not just the gold. She took a couple of other things as well.
You go and you look in the bag, and it is full of gold, specifically. So, you had probably more than gold in your coinage, your various coinage, but you don't find anything except gold pieces.
Okay.
Mm.
So any copper pieces, any silver pieces that you may have had packed away are not there.
Okay.
One question that I have on some of the gold that we had seen, I guess I don't know how in depth or whatever, but what is the mintage of it? Can we tell the difference between what we brought and what is maybe more local or?
I would say there's probably a mix. There is a mix of things that look like it has been minted by the official bank that the Empire sponsors. There are some more ancient looking coins in the mix. Things that have markings on them that you don't recognize. And then even antiquated coinage from the times before the Empire, things that maybe have the markings of different noble houses that exist throughout the kingdoms.
Now, I would say, with the amount of money we recovered from the other Grimalkin, and now from this pig, I guess, we are pretty flush, and much more flush than we were before. I suggest we maybe take some food, take some rest, and be on our way out of here. We've gotten what we came for. We can see there are some grave dangers in this tower. I do not wish to speak with the wizard. I have no business with him. I think we should get out of here.
I have to agree.
I definitely don't feel like I can do much more if we have to fight our way out of this building right now.
Now, your conundrum at this point would be that outside it is about 7 p.m. Not only are you weary from travel, you've had a battle, and you also have Lillibeth is likely in no condition probably to go out journeying just now into the wilderness.
Naked
go
in the
down
naked
the
in the
road-
woods at night is no fun.
in
Trust me.
the
Burnt.
like where the spread is, like as we kind of like mill about and stuff, are those skeletons seeming like their disposition has changed at all, or is it still one of?
No, so you guys start to like kind of head down there, and the skeletons are just as they were before. inviting you to partake. There's like it's the same food at this point, like, you could see evidence that you had come through the room, and any plates that you had left some crumbs on and such, that those are still there. Um, I guess another question is, you've tied up these goblins. What are you thinking about with relation to them? They're crying out to you. Let us go. We're not friends with those Grimalkin. We game with them.
I'm inclined to let them go.
They-
Give them some of their steak back and say, beat it.
I mean, they'll definitely probably be raiding villages and stuff. Or, I mean, how about a trade? What about some information on this tower? What do they know? Maybe we'll give them their freedom for some info.
Maybe a little gold to sweeten the pot, so they don't come back and kill us.
One of the goblins that you start to interrogate, maybe the one that opened the door initially, just says, we don't probably know all that much more than you do. We're always afraid to go any further than this room because of the mist. It's just a convenient place for us to gather. We like to play some games and gamble and enjoy. There's lots of luxuries here. It's a very nice, comfortable place.
Where did you get this bowl?
One of the other goblins will kind of speak up and say, from the Manor Malbrick. It's maybe 6 miles east of here, across the river. Noble house that lives there don't seem to mind. It's real easy. I've gone in there before and taken a thing or two. There's something wrong with the people that live there. I don't know. Something's eating away at their minds, maybe. So I figure, why not? They're not using it. They're not enjoying it.
Something is eating away at their minds?
Just sort of roam the halls of this luxuriant palace. There's still a guard that kind of wanders the grounds, but they're easy enough to sneak by. The doors are all unlocked. And there's plenty of valuables there, but there's something growing in there. It's all fungus infested. The walls, the wallpaper, it's all growing with some kind of growth. I don't know.
I have a different question. I mean, we haven't really learned a whole. We're not from here, as you probably can tell. So, can you help us to better understand? I mean, like, your people, right?
We're people? Yes. Goblin people.
So, what do the goblin people do in this woods, in this place?
They all kind of look at each other kind of funny. And they just say, we'll do what everybody else does. We're trying to survive. We're just coming out of the winter. It's the time to emerge and there's travel again. We kind of skim a little bit of coin off of the travelers that come through here, the house, We're not murderers. We're just robbers. We're just trying to take our cut. We don't have kingdoms like you. We don't have a way of earning coin and such, and we need to pay our way too.
Fair enough. Thank you. The Grimalkins the same, or are they different?
Yeah, they're cuter. They can get away with more. They can walk into a town and nobody bats an eye. A goblin comes on the fringes of your town and It's all bells ablazing and arrows shooting.
Seems fair enough, Goblin. Let me ask you. You know the lay of the land. I think my party members would agree if you give us some key details of where this manor is, where the general towns and settlements in the area, as far as goblins, grimalkins, human or otherwise go, and help us kind of fill in some questions of where we are going and where we are. Maybe we would be willing to just let you go.
All right, I'll tell you what we know. If you're looking for Bogwit Manor, it's, like I say, off to the east. It's the home of House Malbrick. And like I say, things aren't maybe going so well for them these days. So some forest is overtaking their manor, and it doesn't seem that anybody's doing a thing about it. Now, new to traveling about these parts, well, maybe a bit of advice about where not to go. To the southwest, you don't want to go that way. There are, one second, I just want to pull this up. There are things that live upon the mist. Maybe haunted entities, wraiths, standing stones that lurk, marking the resting place of old ones. You should stay
That's
away.
to the southwest.
Southwest.
Standing stones.
We don't go there. Especially not after nightfall. You're looking for one of your communities up north along the river. You'll find a village of Dreg. Grimalkin go there sometimes. The people there are a bit rowdy. It's a little bit of a rough town. A lot of gambling and carousing to be had there as well.
What was the name of that town?
Dreg.
Dreg.
How far a journey from here is that?
On foot, maybe half a day's journey. It's right along the river. The lumberjacks, they often travel there to get a little rest and relaxation from their camp further along the river.
You are mostly of the land, correct? You are not going into these towns and whatnot, what I've heard.
No, we would be killed.
Say, maybe if I'm looking for something maybe to help my friend here who's a bit burnt, do you would know any herbs or anything in mind that I might be looking for that might relieve some of her pain?
They tell you that for sure there could be things, some plants that you could make salves of and such, but they don't know of any in the immediate vicinity. Nothing that would help you out immediately.
Okay, cool.
The stones that you speak of, do they look like? And then I'll describe the stones. Chris doesn't have a description. Are they those?
They can't be for sure. They say sounds similar. The stones they're convinced that they are attuned to the Dolmenwood, that they are magical in nature, and that such stones are best left alone because they are guarded by these entities. And
Intriguing,
they are
intriguing.
fairly local, so they'll tell you that they have heard tales of stones like the one that you described, like further deeper into the wood.
Hmm.
Left long ago by the Fae when they ruled over this land.
Does he have the direction deeper in the wood that it is?
Just a general, like deeper in the wood than they
Deeper in the wood.
than they ever would risk
Go.
go. Yeah, you get the sense that these goblins they live here on the kind of the perimeter of the forest, and they may go and probably mess with some of the farmers and things like that from time to time, stealing from their gardens or whatnot to get food.
You are familiar with this tower, at least the first few floors, correct?
Yes.
The food, that never has bothered you.
No. We rely upon it.
And for how long you've been here, you have not been bothered in the lower floors, correct?
We have not. No. We've been more or less layering here for the past winter.
Is the food replenished every morning?
It is.
Interesting.
The servants of this tower have been kind to us.
Maybe. And he might kind of move away from the goblins, but he said maybe we might need to stay here for the night.
Yes, I would agree, brother. I think we try to heal as much as we can our friend and help her and stay the night, get some rest, send these goblins on their way, and now at least we have a little bit of lay of the land here.
I suggest we let the goblins eat their fill and then send them out of the tower while we bunker in the tower, and then when we leave, they can come back and do whatever they want. It doesn't really matter to us anymore.
That sounds fair. You understand what we are about to do. We will let you go. If you promise a few things. Understand we are not violent folks, but you can see what we can do.
They agree to your terms. They're fine. If you're willing to let them go, they will leave the tower for the night to make you feel at ease as you take a rest in the luxuries of the place. They figure you have bested them, and if you're willing to spare their lives, they can endure that inconvenience, and they make promises that they will not harm you. But you're kicking them out of the tower kind of without. I would assume are you taking their like weapons and things like that from them for the time being?
I think we could give them a little gold and take their weapons.
Okay, that sounds good. So they agree to your terms.
We'll give them like 2. We've got a good stash here. 5 gold pieces in total. Yeah, that sounds fair.
We don't want to weigh them down.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
All right, so say that again. You were giving them back how much?
5.
5 in total.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
I've got an accounting of at least what we got from Cottontail, and I took 5 off of it.
Cotton socks.
Cotton, yeah, whatever.
It's Peter.
Peter Cotton.
I do understand it
Wayne.
is. I do understand it is a bit dangerous out there. We maybe at least be able to give them a small dagger. What do you say?
I was fine letting them have their weapons, so at least one seems okay, so they can hunt some food.
Sure. That sounds fair.
I would kind of.
We are not without honor, brother. You know this.
Yes, Anna. It's the right thing to do either way. Here you go. And he'd hold one of the small daggers out. So at least you're able to defend yourselves. We'll be gone in the morning.
All right, they take the dagger and they exit the tower. They're on their way, and so I imagine you're maybe enjoying some of the food, probably layering in the lounge area, I would think.
Yeah. And I would say that, given what we've heard, I would encourage Sir Silas to partake of the pipe, and that I probably would as well. Drink
Okay.
a little wine.
All right, so a couple of things. We'll go through some procedures here, and then probably the rest here might be kind of like the wrap up of the session. But a couple of things. So you got 2 bags. One bag has now 345 gold pieces in the porcelain bowl. And then there is a second bag that has, I have to do it basically has everything that you had lost. So let me just pull that up quick.
And then did you say that Cotton Socks also had like between 80 and 100 gold pieces on them? Was that separate, or is that part of the 350?
That's a part of the 350. Now 345.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm assuming that bag, that each bag that they were carrying can carry up to 600 gold pieces worth of stuff. So we've got the one bag with the 345 in the bowl, and another that has basically, well, 18, 28, 38, 45, has 105 gold pieces in it.
Nothing else, right?
And I have that broken down in terms of like who owns, I guess, what. So it was 40 gold pieces from Winston's character, 11 from Isaac's, 17 from Chris's, 7 from you, Ryan, and 10 from Moreen's character. But for the purposes of encumbrance and whatever, it's in one bag. So I guess who will be taking a position or collecting this, hanging onto it. At this point, like, Sir Silas is kind of going to be like, I obviously, I'm happy to take one of them, but, I lost the first one out. It's on me.
It might be wise to split this up just in case something like this happens in the future.
I think one bag on one person, one bag on another. And I don't care who.
I'll take one.
It'll be fair, yeah.
I'll keep tally, but I have no place to keep a bag right now.
Okay, so I'll carry. I can carry it, the other one, and then Moreen, you'll be the treasurer.
I will be the treasurer.
As far as that, what they've told us about that bull and the lichen on it and such, I think maybe the friar might be a bit hesitant to even have that around, especially with the talk of, sounds like the forest is coming back and there's mold everywhere.
Oh yeah, good call.
Either way, I think that maybe we might
Things affecting their minds.
Maybe outside, maybe burn that lichen out off the bowl and not have that around.
I like that.
Can you tell what that is before we burn it?
Can we maybe use the powder to see if it's poisonous?
No, we could do that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a little bit of, if there's some residue, and sprinkle it on some of that.
Yeah, did I tell you how many doses of that you have?
No.
We're gonna say 2.
Okay, so I'll use 1 dose then.
It does not appear to be poisonous. It doesn't change color.
Okay. Either way, I'm not sure what it is, and they didn't really know what it was either. So I'd say we probably just burn it, because outside, just better safe than sorry.
Sounds good. So the action, you want to take possession of so there's some torches that were burned there. We've deducted those, so it would still be lit. I think the torch lasts for what, an hour?
Yeah.
So we're gonna use
Okay,
that to burn
I'll
away.
use one. I'll use that. Yes.
You do that, and underneath the bowl is still very much intact. It doesn't really show signs of wear and tear. So you managed to burn it all away, and it's looking like pretty pristine.
Okay. I'll just put it back in the pot. We'll have that bowl, I guess, for now.
Do we have any place to lay down? Because right now my skin is really, really sore, and it's my own fault. I shouldn't have run up the stairs.
There's
Either
like a
way.
chair or something in the lounge area, right? Maybe a couch even.
There's couches, chairs.
We will. Maybe what I would recommend is maybe we will set up a small barrier for you. Maybe be best not to keep any cloth up against your skin. Let your skin breathe.
I agree.
So I'll kind of put up my cloak, kind of hang it up, kind of like a drape for you as well. Kind of give you a little space where you're able to kind of sleep.
Hand the other cloak from behind the cloak barrier and say, "Thank you for this. I appreciate your concern for my modesty and his." And I try and find some space on something that doesn't actually hurt and lay down. Is there marble anywhere?
It's all marble. Yeah.
I'm just going to lay down on the floor.
Sounds good. So there was a motion on the floor here to maybe smoke some pipe weed. All right. So there is a sort of mechanical effect to doing so. Let me just pull those rules up real quick. But basically, when you enjoy pipe weed, you can focus in on maybe a question or something that is troubling the group or something that needs solving, and potentially get maybe an epiphany of some kind. So if you when you're vexed by a problem, you can sit down, get out a pipe, and spend an hour smoking in quiet contemplation, looking into the fire, or in debate with companions. If the hour passes undisturbed, you can make an intelligence check. If several characters smoke and debate together, the most intelligent character makes the check with a +1 bonus per companion, maximum of +4. If the intelligence check succeeds, you can get a clue about the problem being contemplated.
I will definitely participate in that.
And potentially, depending on what you are smoking, there might be a bit of a effect from the particular pipe leaf that you are indulging.
Do we have a vexing question that we need answered?
I don't have a vexing question, but I have some thoughts. I would like to ponder about this tower.
Sir Silas, of course, will be in on this as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely down.
Friar would probably step away and maybe lean more towards the wine.
Okay.
For the first time, you're staying away from the leaf, brother. I am so surprised.
Well, I am.
I do have one question, Alex. Was there any, like, I don't know, tablecloths and stuff like that on these tables, or were they just bare wooden tables?
I think the tables in here in the lounge on the second floor, no tablecloths or anything, but there's definitely a big tablecloth on the banquet table up one floor up. There's some coasters, like there's little coasters, like wooden coasters, and that are lacquered for your wine glass and such.
Okay. One thing that I am going to do is where the tablecloth is, I'm going to slide some of the stuff, and I am going to, I assume that it's rather pristine looking or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and cut a chunk off of it with my tailor back as we're sitting around smoking the pipe. One of the things I wrote down was needles and thread, something that I put patches on my cloak with and stuff like that. And I am going to stitch up some makeshift pants and a shirt for Lillibeth.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, that's a skill that you have, and so you're spending most of the kind of time past here doing that. And Friar, you were going to the wine cabinet.
Yes, and to be honest, as soon as his brother even would mention like, "Oh, you do not want to pass it up," he goes, "Well, give a moment for the wine to set in, and I'll probably be joining you very shortly."
All right.
It's good to see this wizard hat's tower has not changed you yet, brother.
Roll me a d6, Isaac.
Okay. Oh boy. A 1?
Okay. The bottles of wine here are they have a label that seems put on the bottle and in hand an ink, each one a little bit different. You can tell each one individually was marked by somebody doing this labor probably over the course of a day, labeling all their bottles. It says Buckland. It's a clear, sparkling wine. Has a little bit of a bitter herb taste to it. And as you are sipping and enjoying this, you maybe looking into the fireplace a little bit, and you're getting kind of dreamy, a little bit. Some visions kind of start to take hold. Nothing terrifying or anything, but probably just pleasant. Like whatever the friars like, that feeling that you would get from like an awesome dream that you just had, like that's kind of taking over, and your pleasurable things are dancing before your eyes.
You just hear the friar just kind of slumping. Oh, it's lovely.
Those of you that are smoking the pipe leaf, probably in a little bit of a lightened mood yourselves, but more of a kind of giddy, like everything is kind of funny to you, and you're like you're high basically, like munching
It's that
away
kind
at
of
food from the table up above, and you are contemplating something. What would you like to be doing? You will be undisturbed for this hour, so this is no problem.
Yeah, my main thing I wanted to contemplate is I'm wondering about the type of wizardry that's attached to this tower. And I mean, I if I had to narrow down and just be like, what kind of wizard are we dealing with? But broadly, I'm just curious about, do I think this wizard would maybe have any hints or connections for Marjorie, or any relationship to Marjorie? I'm just kind of pondering, like, what I've seen. Do I ever think there's a wizard here? Just kind of just thinking about it.
I assume you're the one with the highest intelligence of the three. So you can.
Do we have to agree on what we're pondering?
Oh, sorry. You're just debating what you want to ponder.
I'm good with that. I didn't have anything specific. I kind of got my answers from that I wanted from the map questions. So
yeah,
Fine with
Sir
that.
Silas
Okay.
doesn't have anything.
Okay. Yeah. So I have an 18 intelligence.
Okay, so you're gonna roll a d20, and you're going to subtract 2 from that. You want to
Subtract 2
under that 18. So I think you're basically going to automatically succeed this.
8 total.
8 total. So you're starting to think about this question: who could have lived here? And you're just thinking about the fact that the goblins had said they lived here undisturbed. They had not been disturbed for months upon months, and so could be that someone lives here. But just given what you have seen about this tower, you wonder if in fact the wizard is here, probably they would have to want to meet you for that to ever happen. You get this feeling like could it be that this tower would just go on for infinitum? You know, when you approached the tower initially, you didn't even see its spire until you were right up at its threshold. So you get the sense that this is a very powerful wizard that has it. Could be that they're dead, but certainly if they are alive, you will not find them unless they will it.
Cool. Thank you. That was kind of my hunch, but yeah, just pondering. I'll share that out too with Silas and Geoffrey. Just like, well, I've just been thinking. I just think, I don't know, just wondering what the mysticism of this place. I'd love to learn more about it. Maybe we can keep an eye out and see if this wizard is perished, which is most likely, or if not, it's someone very powerful. Maybe one day we can entreat them, but I don't think we're going to find them either way.
We could leave them a note thanking them.
Could do that.
Sir Silas, puffing away the wispy, silvery smoke off of that leaf, filling the air, looking into the fire, says, well, we've come here, we've gotten what we were looking for, and more. We are moving into the Dolmenwood with a considerable amount of coin. What say you about tomorrow? My plan was for us to head up the river and make our way to Dreg, continue eastward, try to meet with the Duke of Brackenwold and see what assistance he may be able to yield to us about our missing prismist. But I am open to other suggestions. You've shown yourselves to be a formidable lot, and I trust your judgment.
I would say maybe the condition we are in, quite possibly the best course of action would be to get our canoes and travel to this drag. Probably safest bet.
Looking
What
over
about-
at where Lillibeth is laying unconscious on the floor, he just says, yes, and sounds like, based on both the information we came in here with and what those goblins said, that Dreg could be the closest place for us to get respite. We could also stay here for a few days if we think we will be undisturbed, but I guess our deal with the goblins was that we would remain one day and leave them to it. And he just has like kind of, he's looking around at all the amenities of the room, just knowing that this is way more comfortable than anything you're going to find in Dreg, but it's also a big unknown staying here.
I think the goblins said they weren't bothered, and I think we've shown dominance over them. And if they come back, we can let them feed, we can let them eat. Just stay here a couple days, let our friend heal. We also have the question of this other noble house, whatever,
Malbrick.
Malbrick. They obviously, something must be going on there, and while we are not in the best of shape to do anything about it right now, I do think should we be able to figure out what is going on there and help them, they could be powerful allies in the region if they truly are a noble house. Just food for thought.
And if not, at least you could get your sword back. Or find another sword replacement.
Or, yes, possibly. I mean, nothing will ever replace my sword.
I'm sorry. I spoke too curtly. I mean, a tool to use.
It's just a sword, brother. It doesn't change who you are. Yes,
Yeah,
he's like in the second
It is
cup.
a representation of who I am, but also a representation of who I am is to save the life of a friend and compatriot. So
It's just, you could have a little toothpick dagger upstairs. There's still some. It'll just be fine with that. It looks good on you. It fits you well.
just keep staring at the fire, brother. Maybe less this, more. Woo.
And I do know, Sir Geoffrey, that this pales in comparison, but in the meantime, you're welcome to my short sword, it would be better than a dagger. I have
I
three
have a
daggers.
mace. I have the family mace also that I'm gonna pull out a mace that kind of matches my brother's in style, and whatnot, and say, best for you to keep your weapons, sir. I have my shield, I have my mace, and I'm sure that we are full of coin, so I'm sure there will be opportunities. But
Very
thank
well.
you, appreciate it.
In relation to House Mulbreck, I think Sir Silas would interject that it does indeed sound like there is some foulness about what is transpiring there, but he's likely not convinced it would be a good direction to go unless there was a reason that you thought it might lead you to Marjorie. That would be just his 2 cents, I think, is what he would say.
Yeah, I'd
Best to
say
maybe
that's
just
probably fair.
inform the authorities that something is going on.
That's fair.
So, as we're coming to kind of a close here this evening, I would say you get not a long rest, but you get a full night's rest. Those of you that have incurred any damage, you recover 1 hit point from the evening.
Yes.
So just in kind of plain terms to help me for planning for the next session, there's sort of all sorts of options that you have here about the direction forward. Based on what the goblins have said, you could probably hoof it on foot and get to Dreg within half a day. You could double back to go get your canoes and travel that way, but that would be a day's journey back and then a day's journey going forward down the river, and then paying your toll and whatnot at the river. You could be leaving in the morning. You could be staying here several days. What do you think about what your plan will be for the next session?
I vote we leave in the morning. We head for Dreg. We gotta buy clothes. We gotta buy armor. There's a lot of stuff we gotta do for getting settled up. I was a little nervous just wandering around with a bunch of money.
I
I
would
just
agree
like
with
yours
that.
vote.
Canoes aren't that expensive or whatever, and that was pretty much all we left.
If
So
it's only a half day's journey. And we do need to. I was thinking maybe we would stay here and get healed and then move directly, because we were going to Dreg to kind of just get off the boat and then head to the Duke of Brackenweld, right? And I was like, maybe we could head there directly from here if we're healed up. But we probably do need some stuff. We don't have any bedrolls. We probably want to get some supplies and stuff. So I would say I would go with Weymund on this. It sounds like the right plan.
How are we all looking on health, by the way? I'm full health now.
Same.
I would be at
You're 1
3/4.
Oh, can't hear you, Lillibeth.
I rouse myself a little bit and say, well, I don't really know that I've been hurt beyond this. So how many did I take any points of damage from this?
I'm going to say no, that you didn't actually take damage. It's more of a kind of
Lost all your
exhaustion kind of
Okay.
feel, yeah.
So rest will help me more than anything, but I think it doesn't need to be, more than a day.
We want to try to wait 1 more day then? We just make friends with the goblins?
I know
I
at
think-
first I was against it, but I wouldn't mind staying here 1 more day. It'd be wonderful.
We could invite the goblins back in since they kept their word.
I have no problem with that. I don't want to sleep in a room with them though.
Well, no, and I don't think they would want to sleep in a room with us.
They're going to show up with a war band of like 40 goblins.
Right.
Well, that is something to keep an eye out for, and a possibility that I did not think of. You are that much smarter than I am.
No, they seem nice. They seem nice.
Yeah, they. So what are you guys thinking then? I do think we do need to get some stuff in that town. Like we don't have any bedrolls. We're gonna be out here. We're gonna need some stuff, probably some supplies. We got the money to buy it.
Well, maybe one more day here, and then we head out. Then probably might be.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
not
sounds
have a
fair.
problem with that.
I'd like to put on like Anna's clothing and just to see what that actually feels like and how it fits. Do I need to roll to find out how well tailored this is?
No, I think that probably not a perfect fit. It's probably a hastily done job given the time and the fabric and whatnot that is being used. But I would think that Thomas is quite proficient in this and has done quite well with the tools given, material given.
Feels really soft on my very abraded skin right now. So I'm definitely, Thomas, thank you so much for thinking of me and using your time to create this lovely set of garments.
You're more than welcome.
The next day, I'm sorry, were you going to go and find so the goblins would arrive? Would you be like meeting them at the door when that happens?
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna stay a little longer, but have some food.
Okay. So we will end on this note. The goblins are at the front door on the first level when morning comes, and you open the door to greet them, and it is snowing outside.
What?
Time
just
travel.
a light snow, but there's frost on the foliage out there. Snowflakes just like it kind of feels like maybe it's only been about 30 minutes or so, but you can see kind of a dusting of white kind of collecting on all of the foliage where you would expect dew and stuff to be clinging on the late spring, early summer day.
Uh-oh.
So that is where we will end things.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We got the money. We got the Jaspy Poppletail narrative has been resolved, and it sounds like potentially we will be heading on foot after maybe a couple of days of rest here up to Dreg. Do I have that right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Cool.
Looking forward to ham and eggs and bacon in the morning today, huh?
I'm looking forward to winter. I'm looking forward to winter travel in summer clothes.
Yep.
is
Or damask underwear.
is it
Yeah,
just the
right.
two? Or how many goblins was it?
It's 5, right? 5
Is it
left?
just 5?
It is just the 5. It is the original group. They haven't found their kin in the village over or something.
Should just make this. You're in our tribe now, guys.
They're cold. They're cold. They're like, oh, you guys made us sleep outside. And it's
Each one can be a retainer. Let's bring them on. Yeah, a retainer for each character.
That will bring us so many friends in town. Sure, why not?
Showing up with goblins.
Showing up with goblins.
It can snow in late spring.
It can, yes.
So
It's true. It's true.
And you're not
However-
familiar with this place, like maybe it's a temperate climate kind of environment, but potentially is just a quirk of the season, right?
hopefully.
Well,
It's a
See that?
wizard's TARDIS.
is I think I professed in our session 0, he's want to end these things now with a little bit of gratitude, kind of call out something that made this session pop for you or special to you, or just a memorable moment.
I mean, I'll just say gratitude for all of you not like saving my bacon. So everyone in the party coming together. That was great.
So gratitude to you, Winston, for taking the risk of doing something interesting. and having it play out the way that it did. I mean, you played your character, you did something really cool, and it led to the resolution that it did. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad it didn't lead to the other resolution that I felt like it was going to lead to when it happened. I was like, I just TPK'd everybody.
It didn't.
Gratitude to Isaac for having cure wounds memorized.
Yep.
Oh yeah! Holy cow! Well, that
Yeah.
was perfect.
Yeah.
I'll throw some gratitude to Moreen for just kind of her take on these goblins. You know, I think my initial reaction was kind of murder hobo-y to get rid of them, but I do think this dynamic that we're having with them is actually pretty cool and interesting, and who knows, it could play out with some more goblins here in this land. So yeah, cool.
Thank you. I have one more gratitude, and I already said it once, but I'm going to say it again. I'm really grateful for having clothes. So thank you for using the time to create them.
You're
I
welcome.
think my gratitude's towards Maureen to take the risk to go up there in that pink mist and
Yeah,
get gooped. You got gacked.
I got gagged.
I thought
It
for
was
sure.
horrible.
Yes.
Like, yeah. For those of you that like are listening on like the audio recording, like all of us were just, we were quiet. Like we all had our mics muted, and like our faces were covered. Like we were like, "Welp."
Ugh.
Oh,
Pink mist led to a Nickelodeon studio, I believe.
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida.
Transmutation spell that would turn us all into pigs.
Oh, that's classic.
Yeah. Yep.
My gratitude goes to all of you for the characters that you build and the little details. I think it was already mentioned, but one of my favorite pieces there, Chris, was the tailoring bit, because
Mhm.
I think it's cool when you take a small thing like having a tool proficiency or having a needle and thread and tying that into a moment that connects the two characters. So I like that a lot. And I think you all do a really good job with those little details. These characters feel very nuanced, and that's kind of fun going into the style of play that we're dealing with. So thank you. So I think that's going to wrap us up. Don't want to go too far over our 1 p.m. time here, but thank you all in the audience for hanging out with us here this morning for our Dolmenwood campaign. If this is your first time hanging out with us and you had a lot of fun listening to us play, please do. There, Winston's on it. Jump into the Discord and come hang out with us. We'd love to talk with you about our games. We'd love to talk about how to get you in on maybe a game yourself. So jump in there, drop a message in the lobby, and let us know how you found us. And if you're looking for a game, we'll get you into something 20 sides related. So that's it for us. Thanks, everybody. Gotta look here to see who we might be able to drop a raid out here to see. Okay, we're going to send a raid over just to... I don't have too many people on my list. We'll go to Blue Box RPG. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all soon.
Bye, all.